Welcome to our large audience. We're very pleased to have you with us this evening. This is the regular meeting of Geneva 304 School Board for Monday, June 15th, 2026. Bonnie, could you call the roll?
Here.
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 Dan Choi will be calling in by phone
Okay.
later. And Jackie Forbes.
Here.
Thank you. As I welcome you, the next step is the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is back in the corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is an attendance sheet in the hallway. If you'd like to register your attendance, that would be a fine thing. Next item is the approval of minutes. We have minutes for the regular session of May 26th and the executive session of May 26th. Bonnie, have you received any corrections or additions? No. Does anyone have any at this time? We'll
Motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Second.
Jackie Forbes.
Aye.
Willard Hook.
Abstain.
Paul Berlinski.
Aye.
Larry Kavitsky.
Aye. And now we're gonna have to bring Dan in by phone if that's something we're prepared to do at this time.
Yeah, because I wasn't.
So I think we'll need, somebody will need to make a motion to bring Dan in by phone.
Motion to bring Dan in by phone.
Second.
Need a roll call.
We need a roll call.
Jackie Forbes.
Aye.
Willard Hook.
Aye.
Paul Berlinski.
Aye.
Larry Kavitsky.
All right. Okay.
If we have, our awesome tradition of excellence, recognition next, we can have the board do that, and then as we finish that up, I can dial Dan in on the phone after that. So,
Okay.
how about that?
Works for me.
Okay.
Item 3 on the agenda, recognition awards and presentation. First item is boys and girls tennis, track field, and bass fishing. Who knew?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But we're really happy. Nothing fishy about that.
That's right. So we'll have the board come around here, and Mr. Rogers is gonna brag. Very excited to have some students come in the summer, because a lot of times in the summer we don't get the opportunity to recognize our kids. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
And the first item on the agenda for this award presentation is our boys tennis team, and they are the gentlemen that are here this evening. Woo! Well played, guys.
All right.
So this is our final opportunity to, it's not our final opportunity, but it will be the final presentation of Tradition of Excellence Awards for this 25-26 school year. And we've got a lot of great accomplishments to celebrate tonight. And as I mentioned, the first is a doubles team from Geneva High School who represented us at the IHSA state finals back on Thursday, May 28th. And I'll introduce these two young men first, and then I'll just tell you a little bit about their accomplishment. Starting with, and by the way, they're a doubles team, if I didn't mention that. So they competed together. First of all, Tyler Haney. If you get up and go shake hands with Mr. Redlinski on the left over there, and then make your way down the line, and then stay in front of the backdrop here for photos. And Tyler's teammate, Cole Hecker. These two young men teamed up and won the sectional championship. And in the finals match of that sectional championship, they defeated Batavia. They had already qualified for the IHSA state meet when they reached the semifinals, but they weren't satisfied with that accomplishment. They wanted a sectional championship under their belt, and they earned it. And that then earned them a trip to the IHSA State Tennis Finals, where they unfortunately lost their first match. But then in the second match of the day, they were victorious. And that victory marks the first time in many years that we've had a boys tennis player or players earn a state match victory. So congratulations to these two gentlemen on a fantastic season. Congratulations, Tyler and Cole. Mr. Baker's going to take a quick photo. Parents, if you want to get up, I know you've been taking them from there, but if you want to get up and take them from the middle of the room, feel free. All right, congratulations, boys. And once again, thank you very much for coming. Parents, thanks for taking time out of your summer to come as well. We appreciate you being here. The next group that was invited was our IHSA Girls Track and Field State Final Qualifiers. Unfortunately, none of them are here, so I'll go through this real quickly. Sophia Border earned all-state recognition in the 3,200-meter run and the 1,600-meter run, earning 6th place in the 2-mile, 5th place in the mile. She earned that opportunity to go by finishing 2nd at the sectional and 3rd at the sectional, respectively, in each of those races. And I think I can add that Sophia probably goes down as one of the most decorated runners, female runners in Geneva High School history, as she graduates and heads on to her next step in life. Qualifying in the pole vault was Ava Marin. Also in the pole vault, Leah Freedy. Qualifying in the 100 meters and 300 meter hurdles were Alyssa Flott. The discus sectional champion and earning a spot at the state meet was Isa Sita. Taylor Peel qualified in the 800 meter run as an individual and was also a member of the 4x400 relay that finished 2nd at the sectionals. And the other members of that 4x4 relay were Elena Hamilton, Harper Cobbleman, and Hadley Mason. Congratulations to our girls track athletes. They are coached by Mr. Peter Rock. Next, our IHSA boys track and field state qualifiers. They competed at Eastern Illinois University on May 29th and 30th, and what an exciting weekend it was. I'm going to start, actually, because he took time out of his evening. Our head coach, Mr. Boone Thorgeson. Boone, if you'd go up and shake hands. Boone has the pleasure of being the first and only head coach at Geneva High School in track to have a boys state champion. Bennett Conkey didn't win a state championship once, but he did it twice. He is the 100-meter dash champion and the 200-meter dash champion. Not surprisingly, he was the sectional champion in both of those events as well. So he also, in addition to those individual events, he was a member of the 4x100 relay that qualified for the IHSA state meet as well. We will be honoring Bennett in the fall as his accomplishment came after the school year, so we will have an opportunity to celebrate his amazing historical first in boys track with not one, but two state championships. Also qualifying for the state meet were Mason Hallbeck in the 400-meter run as an individual and was also a member of that 4x100 relay. Brian Waters was a member of the 4x100 relay. Harrison Tincher qualified as a member of that 4x100 relay. And then Cam Ziegler qualified in the shot put by finishing 6th at the sectional. And Lex Griffith was a sectional champion and qualified for the IHSA meet in the discus throw. So congratulations to our boys track athletes. Finally, I heard it mentioned at the table a moment ago. Maybe some people didn't realize that the IHSA sponsors a bass fishing competition every year. And we had 2 seniors qualify for the IHSA state finals in bass fishing. They qualified by the top 6 teams qualified for sectionals in the regional competition, and the boys were 6th. And then at the sectional, you have to be in the top 10 in order to qualify for state. They were in 10th. Caught just enough fish, and those fish were just heavy enough to put them over the hump. And then they went down to Lake Shelbyville on June 5th and 6th with their head coach, Tom Anderson. And I really do appreciate being a coach of bass fishing and being a volunteer. We have some parent volunteers as well. They have to volunteer the use of their boat. They have to haul the boat to wherever those competitions are, and then drive the boat and keep the boys safe. So congratulations to Titan Sutcliffe and Jackson Furman, who qualified for the IHSA State Bass Fishing Finals. You know, I was going to say it's a beautiful night outside. Those two guys probably have a fishing pole in the water somewhere. So thank you very much for this opportunity tonight, and thank you very much for the opportunity throughout the school year to honor all of our students who do so many great things throughout the year. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
That's fine. Okay.
10.39 was .08 from the state record.
Yeah, yeah.
Juniors.
Oh.
Another year of football. I don't know.
Don't get injured. That's the
To me, it's going early.
No, I do not want your position.
Hello, Dan.
None of that. Ready.
Hello, Dan. We just finished Tradition of Excellence and calling you in here.
Great. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Dan.
boy.
Do we need to approve the minutes now?
Yeah, wait.
We have to redo the minutes, yeah.
Yep.
Hi, Dan. We're glad you're here because we don't have a quorum without your active participation, so thank you. And in keeping with that rule, we have a minute approval for the regular session of May 26th and the executive session of May 26th. We've already established that there are no corrections at this time unless you have one. And if you do not, we can go ahead and vote to approve the minutes for May 26th.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Dan Choi,
Aye.
Jackie Forbes,
Aye.
Willard Hooks,
Abstain.
Paul Berlinski,
Aye.
Larry Kaveen,
Aye. So thank you for that. The next item is the draft budget. Adrian Ramirez is going to present an overview of the 26-27 draft budget development to us all.
Yes, Adrian's getting ready. Just want to thank him for being here. Those of us who participated in the Finance Committee meeting just a bit ago, Mr. Latham gave this same presentation, and I think we had some really good conversation. And so Adrian's then here to join the full board and present the same draft budget. Obviously, this is still a bit early, and we will get to the tentative next month, but glad to have the opportunity to look at these numbers now and start having some of this conversation. So we'll pass it to you, Adrian.
All right, thank you. So good evening. As Dr. Barrett mentioned, I will be presenting the fiscal year 26-27 budget for the district. So this remains a draft. We're still paying invoices, vendors, completing the June payrolls, the summer payrolls for teachers. This week we're expecting one of our largest tax payment of the year. So all this will impact next year's revenue, depending on the amounts received. We recently completed open enrollment, so benefit costs will fluctuate based on the employee election, and we are still in the process of filling in open positions that we have. So all these items will impact our fund balances and how we end the year. So our budget is based on several key assumptions. On the revenue side, we are assuming approximately a 5% increase in EAV, a 3.2% increase in local tax revenues, continued evidence-based funding of approximately 4.28 million, approximately 7.9 million in new construction, investment returns based on 4.2%, and then lastly our fund balance transfers to support the capital plan and fleet management. On the expenditure side, salary projections are based on collective bargaining agreements, administrative agreements, staffing plans, and anticipated attrition. Benefits reflect projected healthcare and pension costs. Insurance rates are up this year, with PPO being up 5.9%, HMO being up 9.9%, and dental being up 2.8%. So purchase services, supplies, utilities, fuel, capital projects, and equipment replacement costs have all been estimated using current contracts, historical spending trends, and inflationary assumptions. Other expenses include items like dues, fees, contingencies, tuition for students placed in programs like Mid-Valley or our Fox Valley Career Center. So the education fund remains our largest operating fund. Right now we're budgeting revenue at 85 million, which is an increase of 3.6% over projected fiscal year 26 revenue. So the majority of revenue comes from property taxes. Other local revenue includes items like student fees, rental income, investment earnings. Right now we're projecting state revenue to be down. Part of that, one of the reasons is less private placement dollars. Federal revenue is down due to declining grant money and carryover funds being spent. So expenses we're projecting at 88.2 million. That's an increase of 6.3% over the fiscal year 26 expenditures. The largest category is salaries, followed by benefits and purchase services. Supply expenses are lower than last year due to the purchasing of textbooks this past spring to support the new curriculum. Capital and non-capital remain relatively consistent, supporting our district tech plan, ongoing equipment, and facility needs. Other uses, as I mentioned, this includes tuition for outplaced students, contingencies, and other obligations is up. So I think right now what we're seeing is we're projecting to operate at a deficit of approximately 3.2 million, but that does reflect ongoing investments in district programs and with our staffing. For the O&M fund, we're projecting approximately 17 million in revenue. Most of this revenue comes from property taxes, but this fund also receives evidence-based funding as well as rental income, interest earnings, and parking fees. For expenses, we're projecting at 14.9 million. This fund supports facility operations, custodial services, maintenance activities, utilities, and building improvements. So supplies is up due to inflation. I know we're also looking to spend more on ground and custodial supplies, so that's also included. And supplies actually also includes utilities. So capital is down due to capital expenditures being spent out of Fund 60. And when you compare revenue versus expenditures, we're projected to have a surplus of around 2.1 million. So any surplus helps us fund our capital plan. So that's historically what we've done, is move these funds over to our capital fund with anything that's left over. Our debt service fund remains stable. Revenue is budgeted at approximately 15 million. And with the primary revenue source for this is property taxes along with some interest income. Expenditures are budgeted at approximately 14.5 million. This fund continues to meet all the scheduled debt obligations while maintaining a positive fund balance. onto the transportation fund. So this fund is, we're projecting close to 4.5 million in revenue, expecting more in property taxes. And one thing I want to point out is state revenue is down, and that's primarily due to the transportation claim reimbursements. So the transportation claim is submitted each August to obtain state reimbursements for qualifying expenses from this fund. In recent years, reimbursements have decreased due to limited state funding availability. As for on the expenditure side, we're projecting 4.9 million in expenditures, with the largest expenditure being salaries, fleet replacement, fuel, maintenance, and transportation services. We're looking to exceed revenue by close to $400,000, and that reflects our ongoing spending on replacing our buses. And that's all a strategy we use, is we try to replace our budgets within a 5-year time frame. We're able to actually count the depreciation on our buses within a 5-year limit. So that's one way we get more funding when we submit the transportation claim. Onto the retirement fund, we're budgeted revenues of 3.3 million, with the tax levy being the primary source of revenue for this fund, along with some interest income. The expenditure side, we're looking at 3.2 million. This reflects increased IMRF and TRS employer contributions. So this is driven by salary growth, full staffing, and higher benefit rates. This, we're projected to have a small surplus in this fund. So the capital projects fund, continues to support the district's capital plan. Right now, this number may change, but right now, when talking with Todd and with Brian and Andy and the facility task force group, we're looking at 7.7 million in expenditures. And right now we're projecting a transfer of 7.9 million from the education and O&M fund. This fund also receives a little bit of interest income, and as you know, this fund is primarily used for facility improvements, for infrastructure needs, for equipment replacement, and long-term capital priorities. So this fund is project-based, so we fund it as needed through board-approved transfers and draw it down over time as projects are completed. So I know some of the projects that we'll be working on this year are, I think, tennis courts, parking lots, the greenhouse, HVAC work, boiler work, generators, piping, and masonry work. So all that I know is being worked on. Okay, the working cash fund, this is essentially the district's inner loan fund. This fund has really grown over the past 5 years, primarily due to the allocation of interest. So I think we built up this balance, and it's always good to have reserves. You know, this provides liquidity and can help out with cash flow with the other funds if ever necessary. But for the most part, with our property tax income being our primary source of revenue and being in King County and living in this community, I don't think we'll ever run into an issue where we need these funds, but it's always good to have it's always good that we have these funds available. The tort fund remains minimal and has no expenditure budget. Moving on to the life safety fund, this fund is used to support facility improvement and projects to address health and safety and code compliance throughout the district. Right now, we actually levied a little more in this fund, so we're projecting 216,000 in revenue, and with 500,000 on the expenditure side. So we'll use some of the fund balance to cover these expenditures, but as I mentioned, this is to support life safety and facility compliance requirements, such as replacing fire alarms and plumbing. Okay, so this slide kind of provides all the district revenue and expenditure categories. Property taxes continues to be the primary revenue source, representing close to 87% of all revenue. So state funding remains stable. We're a tier 4 district, so we don't expect that source of revenue to change much. On the expenditure side, salaries, benefits remain our largest investment. And I do think that reflects our commitment to maintaining quality educational programs and student support services. And this budget is also, includes significant capital and facility investments. So I think this budget shows that we're investing in our staff and we're investing in our facility. So this slide shows the projected fund balances for each fund in the district as a whole when you take into account the draft revenues and expenditures as well as estimated fund balances. The fiscal year 27 budget includes $125.6 million in revenues and $133 million in expenditures. And that's the results of that is a planned reduction in fund balance, approximately $8.2 million. So again, this is driven by capital investments and ongoing investment in staffing, compensation, and student services. Even with these planned expenditures, the district is projected to end the fiscal year with around a little over $60 million in total fund balances, and I think we're maintaining strong reserves and financial stability. So as we move forward, we have several factors that we continue to monitor. So school districts continue to face uncertainty related to the economy. State funding and other factors can impact revenues and expenditures. Inflation, if it goes up to 3.5%, that's going to impact our operating costs. We may see an increase in that. Fuel and utility costs remain volatile and can significantly impact transportation and facility operating budgets. Interest rates, we've been very fortunate to have the interest rates that we've had in the past. Last year, we're probably looking at 4.5%, and that's gone down a little bit. I think we've done a good job at investing money long term. As you've seen, we have all those funds and working cash. Those funds we've been able to invest for multiple years at high rates. So I do think Todd's done a great job. Something I was really impressed by when I first started at the district was we've been able to invest money long term, and it's really helped us out. Staffing changes, employee turnover, vacancies, and staffing needs can affect both operations and budget planning. Enrollment changes that can impact the way we are staffing. Capital costs, so we continue to monitor construction, maintenance, and equipment costs as they continue to rise. Bus replacement costs, fuel expenses remain elevated compared to historical levels, and changes in employee participation and healthcare utilization can affect benefit costs. So all those factors, we try to monitor as best as we can. And lastly, our year-end balances. We continue to monitor those closely as we finish up the fiscal year, but there are a lot of factors. Right now, we're kind of coming to a point where we're starting to plan for next year. So what does that look like is we're having staff put in invoices to be paid for next year and now. So if you kind of shut down, any purchasing right now for the current year, being that there's only 2 weeks left in the school year. So we're trying to prepare for next year, and that's the best we can do to try to project where we're going to end the year. Okay, so just before any questions or comments, I just want to say that the school's current financial position reflects intentional investments in our staff, students, our programs, and facilities. I think as we move forward, our focus will be on ensuring long-term financial sustainability through strategic revenue planning in alignment with ongoing revenues and with ongoing expenditures. So, you know, I think we're in a good position. We continue to spend the right way and continue to try to do our best for our students and for our staff.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I do. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for your very thorough presentation. I wasn't here for the finance meeting, but and I appreciate you acknowledging that there are some unknowns like utilities and fuel costs like that. So I'm just asking because I know it's a draft, but would there be I'm just using not precise language, but is there a tipping point where those utility and fuel costs will make a criteria for not purchasing buses where you have to defer it for another year? I mean, are there just some costs that you just don't know, especially electricity, insofar that we know that AI is creating an impact, not just locally, but across the country. Those are unknowns, especially with fuel costs. But are there some things that could be deferred, like fuel? I mean, I'm sorry, the bus purchases, or that just still move forward in the budget?
Yeah, so
Loaded question, I'm sorry.
I think our approach to replacing buses is making sure that if we replace one or if we sell one, that it's within our spending range. So that's what we're looking at. Like, the costs of buses have gone up a lot, and it has changed our plans. We haven't purchased as many buses as we wanted, so it does change. Our loss, I guess, comes in where we can't claim depreciation on those buses, so that lowers our reimbursement claim. So if we don't think it's a good time to purchase, we won't. But we're not also looking to purchase new buses. We're possibly looking at purchasing used buses from other districts. We've sold a few buses to other districts, so we look at all different options when looking at purchasing for the transportation.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I was thinking that it was only new buses, so that's good to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Adrian. Good job. Next item is public comments. Bonnie, have you received any requests for public comments? No. Anybody want to make a public comment? Thank you. Next, legislative updates. Jackie.
Yes, IASB did put together an end of the session report. I haven't gone through all of it yet, but there was one bill in particular I wanted to mention tonight. That is House Bill 4416. That is the bill that was looking at potentially providing unemployment benefits to education support personnel. That did not move forward in the session. It doesn't mean it's never going to come back, but for right now it is not moving forward, and I'll have hopefully some more bills that we can talk about next time. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Jackie. And next is the superintendent's report. Dr. Barrett.
Yeah, just a couple quick things to highlight as we're getting summer underway. This first meeting of the summer, it always feels like, probably said this before, feels like school, last day of school was yesterday and 6 months ago. It's kind of how that feels right now. So I would say from my seat, actually, Friday was maybe the first day it actually felt like it wasn't the school year, just given all that we've been working through since the school year ended. So just some quick summer updates as the summer's getting underway. Obviously, we recognized a lot of students here tonight. A lot of things continue to happen for students actually as the school year's ending. We had a lot of those competitions happening. Just learned today, we weren't able to talk about it because we just learned today, but our Robo-Vikes, who you've seen from before, they actually won the state championship this past weekend. So we just keep killing it in all kind of different bass fishing, robots, track. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So over the past couple weeks, we've been doing a lot of leadership planning for the upcoming year, looking at planning professional development, looking at our school improvement process, and, you know, talking about some tech and curricular related initiatives, and we had a really productive meeting with our entire leadership team last week, so that was valuable. We've heard a lot about the ongoing capital work that got underway, and thanks to Brian Peterson and our operations team, who, you know, works with Adrian and Todd to get that work going. I know the facilities task force has really done a nice job of helping us get that work approved and going so much earlier in the year, so we could hit the ground running, and we've really been able to do that. Again, I know Shawnette and George have been really working on some curriculum support and development. Dr. Law and his team getting that staffing and hiring underway. I think we have our first session for new teachers this week, right? So a couple new staff members coming in this coming week, and planning for the school year startup. So lots of work is underway so far. Also just thought it might be a good time briefly to hit one more subject and highlight some of just in a very preliminary fashion, we'll have an opportunity for Mr. Wilkes and Mr. Petmezis and members of our AI committees and tech teams talk more about this in the year ahead. But we really are trying to have intentional conversations about artificial intelligence and AI. And I thought it would be important for the board and community to hear just a little bit about how some of those conversations have been going, right? So just a little timeline here for you, and we'll get to, again, more of this when we get everybody together and the school year returns. But actually in the summer of 2024 was when the district first started to develop AI guidelines, and then leading into that school year 24-25, the district formed its first K-12 AI committee that looked at our AI guidelines summary and provided feedback to district on use cases and needs. Then when we got into 25-26 this year, we officially formed K-12 ed tech committees at all levels. We had historically not had those at all levels, so now we have those at all levels. They've identified some initial formal resources. They're having some conversations about teacher and student needs, and looking at goals for 26-27. And while we've been doing that, again, we've been having ongoing work with our leadership council. I would say that was maybe one of our most impactful conversations with our leadership team, and our work last week was talking about how we're going to have to adapt and evolve to AI. And these are kind of some of the big critical reflections and questions we were reflecting on. How is this tool being used by folks today in our district? And we asked, how are teachers and administrators using it? How are kids maybe using it in their real lives? How should we be thinking about all of that? Then the question is, really digging into what are the benefits of some of these tools and what are the risks, and we know that there's a lot of potential in both of those, right? And then one of the things we really wanted to kind of start forecasting out was, what do we think success with these tools might look like in the future? And we want to start exploring and thinking about what should that use look like? What would the use case look like in 3 to 5 years as this situation starts to evolve? So, those are the conversations that we're having right now. We think they're pretty critical. We know, right now we don't have any of these tools turned on district equipment for students, right? But our committees, our AI committee and our ed tech committees, are starting to talk about that and where that might make sense, and certainly where that does not make sense. But we also know that, again, there's a lot of potential benefits in being able to use this, but also some risks. I know there's a lot of apprehension on the part of some of our staff that how kids could use this ineffectively to make their learning worse, and we don't want that to happen. We want it to only help support learning and make learning better. I think one of the things that we really kind of talked about in our work last week is just that, you know, change, we know change is inevitable, but one thing that we feel pretty proud of is that our values are constant. So yeah, change is coming, but our values aren't changing. And so when we think about, you know, those values of preparation, excellence, empowerment, that's the lens through which we want to be thinking about how these tools could be used in our district and by our educators. And then ultimately by our students in a world where we know they're going to have access to them, even if we don't have access to them inside kind of our system at the moment. They've got access to it everywhere else. And so how do we leverage our values about, you know, the important things we want our kids to know and be able to do, those knowledge, skills, and personal qualities that we want them to have. How do we best leverage that when we get to this tool? So lots of important conversations are happening, and there will be more to come, and we'll get the smart people like Mr. Wilkes and Dr. Petmezis and the real smart people, the kids and the teachers, to come and kind of share some more information with us in the year ahead. So just wanted to give a little foreshadowing on that. And then hit it last time, but just a little bit more foreshadowing that we're getting excited for the upcoming school year in Sweet Home Geneva, where we're on a mission for kids. It's going to be a great year in store where we kind of celebrate our educators and acknowledge the great things they're doing to set our kids up for a lifetime of success and success beyond our school walls. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. I have to just comment for a second on AI. I would expect that any AI use by staff or students here in Geneva would involve acknowledgement that AI was used in the process at any time.
Of course.
Seems obvious enough.
Oh, yeah, just
Please.
I appreciate. I'm sorry.
No,
Crash
don't
the
be.
party.
Yeah, no, don't.
No, so I appreciate you saying that it's important that these things, especially the AI, align with our values. And I'm not projecting that I know what all that means in the terms of the carbon offset, because there is one. But I think it's important that we acknowledge things like lighting, the facilities task force. Of course, I'm not on that committee, but I'm sure that they are thinking about the carbon offsets that would probably come with increased use of AI. And I think the public would be, you know, better served to have that information made clear to them that we are trying, you know, to offset our carbon footprint. Because as you increase that, use of AI also is going to increase other things that are quote unquote risks that are not necessarily to the school, but environmentally and other things like that. So that's my 39 cents. So.
Fair, thank you.
Good. Anything else? Thank you. Next item, board dialogue topics pending action consideration. Item 1, policy updates. This is the second reading. Policy 5:50, drug and alcohol free workplace. This policy has been reviewed by the administration and by the policy committee. It was presented for first reading on May 26th and is being presented at this time for second reading and adoption. Questions may be directed to the policy chair, kinda. And so, any questions at this time? I'd like a motion to approve in the absence of questions.
So moved.
Second.
Jackie Ford,
Aye.
Willard Hook,
Aye.
Paul Zielinski,
Aye.
Dan Choi,
Aye.
Larry Kabie,
Aye. Thank you. Item 8, work study topics and future action considerations, the 26-27 EL curriculum recommendation, and the packet contains information from Assistant Superintendent Sims regarding textbook and instructional materials being proposed for the English Learners Program. This would be brought back at a future meeting for possible approval.
Yeah, Mrs. Sims wasn't able to be here with us tonight, but Dr. Petmezis is here. And this is a little outside of our normal timeline, so I thought it would be valuable to have George just highlight why we're bringing this forward to you all tonight, and having this be a little bit out of our typical kind of cascade, because you'll remember that we sought your approval of for adoption of potential curricular resources. Typically that happens in the spring. We did that earlier in the spring, put them on display, and then you ultimately approved those. This is one additional resource, and there's some context behind why we need to move forward with this. So I'll pass this off to George to just share that with you briefly.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Barrett. You know, in looking at our EL numbers, we have about 185 EL students district-wide, and that has been increasing over the pretty consistently over the past several years. So I find that to be a strength, actually, of ours. And in doing so, there was a question that we needed to look at district-wide, K through 12, on the programming and the resources that we are utilizing to support our students, our multilingual learners. And we landed on English 3D, which is from HMH, which is the same company that we adopted for interreading for our literacy curriculum. And what 3D stands for, actually, it's really addressing the 3 dimensions of language learning, which include interaction, academic language, and literacy. English 3D offers a path to proficiency. So what does that mean? A path to proficiency is simply getting our students to understand the English language and be able to participate in a classroom without needing support. Ultimately, that is what our goal is, and that's measured through our access testing, and we utilize that data to determine how well are we doing in meeting the needs of our multilingual learners. And we felt that 3D accomplishes just that. It is WIDA aligned. Actually, this morning I had to look, what does WIDA stand for? And it's World-Class Instructional Design and Assessment. And what that means is it really outlines best practices in working with multilingual learners. A big part of English 3D is this concept of asset-based teaching. So rather than seeing English learners as being behind when compared to their typical peers, we see their home language as a strength, not necessarily a problem. We value the cultural background and experiences they bring to our classrooms, and we build on their existing knowledge and skills. This program is designed for students that are newcomers all the way through grade 12. So that is really nice. It offers components of direct instruction and has a adaptive computer-based platform that teachers could use as well. This was a huge, I would say, a huge plus for us. As you know, we like to work with students with hands-on materials, but then also like to have a platform where we could have students work independently on and gather data on. It is very closely aligned to Access and those standards as well. So in the end, this is where we landed, and there's a variety of reasons. It's aligned with standards, it's data-driven, it's purposeful intent to move towards proficiency. Materials are very engaging, and our partnership with HMH just down the streets allows some great professional learning opportunities along the way for our teachers. Questions?
Questions? Thank you very much for that interesting presentation.
So these resources will be basically now on display here for a little bit before they come back at our next meeting. And I think, you know, as kind of noted in the memo and George noted here a little bit, I just want to be explicit about part of the impetus for this happening right now is we participated in an audit with the State Board of Education. And one of the pieces of feedback that came back in that was having some more robust instructional resources to meet the supports of our EL learners. And so it actually, even though it's a little later in the summer, it's actually kind of timely because we just made this transition into reading as well. So the fact that it's also from HMH and aligned with that, we think will be good, and hopefully this can be on display, and our EL and bilingual teachers will be able to use this in the fall. Right, George?
That's right. That's correct.
So what's the, I take it that these materials can be updated, so we're not buying this again, say in 5 years. I mean, how does this work in terms of the longevity of this? I mean, because I've already heard so far with the German program that the materials were outdated and we needed to update them. So how does this square with in terms of the longevity, the lifetime of it?
Yeah, well, so there are. This is the benefit in having the hard copy materials that we could use for small group instruction that we could have, but also a platform. When the platform gets updated, it's updated for everyone. So that is a huge plus.
Yeah.
But the hands-on materials that we purchase, they may need updating. You know, I can't say every so often, but it's something that we try to reevaluate our curriculum every 5 to sometimes 10 years. But we meet with our teachers regularly to assess, you know, are the resources that we're providing you, are they meeting the needs of your students? And our students change. I mean, when we look at, we have 185. I'd say about 4 years ago, we were probably right around 130, 140. So we have more languages that are coming in. We have students that are not speaking any English. We have students that that come from different socioeconomic backgrounds that also have other needs that we are addressing in the school. So that is a reoccurring conversation that we try to have with all of our teachers.
So I can see the cost benefit of that. So I just needed to get clarification that we're not buying this every 3 years or something like that. Thanks a lot.
Anyone else? Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you.
The next item is information, item 9, the FOIA requests and board correspondence, as well as item 2, the suspension report. There's no discussion required for this. Item 10, consent agenda, my favorite. One is the personnel report, resignations, retirements, leave requests, changes in assignment, full-time equivalent, and new hires. Item 2, monthly financials. Item 3, fiscal year 27, hazardous bus routes. Item 4, 26-27 treasurer's bond. Item 5, project authorization for 27-28 capital projects. And 6, AB Staffing Solutions, LLC agreement. And if there are no questions, approval is recommended for the consent agenda.
Hey, Larry, I just have one, I guess more comment or question for Andy in regard to tonight. We're going to be approving the safety and security coordinator, Mr. Frieders. How did that interview and all that go and all that? This is for our new liaison, right? This is our liaison resource officer.
No. Good question.
This one is for Mr. Baker.
Yes, this would be the replacement for Mr. Baker's position. Our school resource officer, who will be starting in the fall. That'll be a different individual who's currently GPD officer. Curtis Cheyenne is his name. So he'll be starting in the fall. The position you all are approving tonight is a safety and security coordinator, and that's Mike Frieders, who's also a retired GPD officer. He's currently serving in this role in a neighboring district. And so he's bringing not only the local connections that we know are vital and important in this role, and the law enforcement and first responder background that we know is important in this role, but also bringing experience having done the job in a large, complex district and implemented a lot of the important systems like we've been trying to implement here. So we really think it's going to be a nice transition and a great opportunity. Our interview team just really felt very strongly about his candidacy and is excited to bring him on board.
He's a parent as well, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great. Is he going to be taking pictures at the board meeting as well? Part of the role?
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk through that. Duties not otherwise specified, right?
Thank you, Dan. That's a good question. And he certainly has big shoes to fill for Mr. Baker. Board member comments and reports. Let's see, as I look around. Oh, we have to approve the consent. We didn't do it.
Motion
I
to
got
approve the
sidetracked.
consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second. Aye.
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 Aye. I got so excited that we actually had a comment. Okay, now board member comments and reports, and let's start with Willard.
Yeah, just wanna, I didn't, see, I wasn't here for the last meeting, but looked at the, video. So I would just say that, one of the things I can say for today is that I'm really impressed with, the track team and all the awards that have been for the tennis team as well. But to have such a record-breaking, just pointing out just the track accomplishments, I thought that was remarkable for such a district isn't that big, you know. So it's just really remarkable that we can make that kind of impact on the state. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Jackie?
I just wanted to mention graduation, always a highlight of the year, and really enjoyed hearing the speeches this year from not only the selected teacher, but also from the students. It was a nice event, and looking forward to hearing about all the great things that our graduates do as they move forward on their next steps. Congratulations to everyone who we saw tonight who are winning their Tradition of Excellence Awards, but I also want to mention all the other programs that went further than a lot than they have in many years, making it to super sectionals. We really had a successful spring. It was pretty amazing to keep watching how everyone's doing and moving forward. I was able to catch one of the playoff games for the girls soccer team, so I was happy to be able to do that. And that's about it.
Very nice. Paul?
Yeah. So I guess we've moved from graduation season to graduation party season, I guess, at this point in time. I see people setting up things in their backyards all over the place now, so that's fantastic. And congratulations to the seniors that graduated, and also to the juniors that are rising seniors. And it's going to be an exciting time for them as they prepare to step into that role as seniors for the final year in at Geneva schools. Congratulations to the 4 teams that we had here for their Tradition of Excellence, and also to the RoboBikes for your comment, Andy, on that. I thought that was great. That was very great. One last thing, we had an opportunity at the Facilities Task Force to tour 3 of the facilities, the high school, Geneva Middle School South, and also Mill Creek, and to see some of the major projects that are not only ongoing for this year. I mean, if you go to any of the schools, everything is tore up right now, and equipment is being replaced. But also to talk about what's going to be needed for next year. And I think it's a great situation that we're in, where we're almost 12 months out planning and already approving to go and get the engineering and architectural work done, so that we can do this and get the things done at a good price and a good time to do it also. So yeah, that's about it. Everybody have a great summer.
Well, I second what everybody said, as I usually do. It is what?
Dan.
Oh, Dan. Yeah, I almost forgot you, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just because I'm on the phone, I won't add to what everyone said. I echo what everyone said. I guess the only other thing I'll add is thanks for letting me join by phone tonight.
No, it's the other way around, Dan. Thank you for joining by phone. Okay, I'm basically agreeing with what everyone has said. It's a wonderful time of year. I thoroughly enjoyed the tour of the facilities, seeing what type of work is being undertaken. It's obviously very necessary when you see what's being done under approach. And the district is continuing to do very well. Next, we have notices and announcements. I have none. I don't think anybody has any. Item 13, executive session to consider matters pertaining to appointment, employment, compensation, or discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific individuals who serve as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer for the public body against or for legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee that is subject to the Local Government's Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and must be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with the acts of Act 5 ILCS. Student disciplinary cases also are part of our policy. In any case, motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Alder Linsky,
Aye.
Dan Choi,
Aye.
Jackie Ford,
Aye.
Willard Hook,
Aye.
Larry Devine.
Aye. Thank you all very much for coming. We'll go into executive session.